everybody. Welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on YouTube. I apologize that I was a little late. I'm sitting here waiting for the broadcast. I'm looking at my clock. I'm early. And then I'm like, holy crap, Charlene sent me some revisions. I got to put them in my cheat sheet here, and I'm rushing to do that, so evidently it made me go over a little bit, so I kind of messed up. I was sitting back not thinking that, but kind of crazy day today. My brother came up because my monitor's on the blink here, and I'm going to get a new monitor, but he brought up this HP. I don't know if the HP can connect to a Dell computer. They're two different systems. I was researching it a little bit again, but anyway, it kind of put me behind today. But welcome to the March 5th, 2022 all 50s and early 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show. I'm your host, Johnny G. I spin my original vinyl 45s every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. right here on YouTube. We'll be joining Oldies and More Radio beginning at midnight tonight, so thank you all. We opened up tonight with tenor saxophonist Red Prysock, originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. He was the older brother of singer Arthur Prysock. This was his second of three. A song he wrote on Bobby and Danny Robinson's Red Robin label, sort of a jazzy type cool tune. It's called Jump for George. We'll send that one out to George Tompkins, Jump for George. But I think it was somebody the Congo player in his band, I think it was for. But it's from May 53, it's actually spelt wrong on the label. It's R-E-O instead of Red, but it's Red Prysock and his House Rockers on Red Robin Records, Jump for George. Well, anyway, enough of my babbling here. Got some cool records for tonight, some flip sides, lots of requests, and here is a flip side. Like on last week's show, I featured the debut single by this group called the Palos. It was a request for Nick Nicola, a group out of Cleveland, Ohio. Featured side 2 of their 45. It was called These Four Letters, a killer ballad. And listener Daryl Letts requested the jump side. It features Robert Chalmers on lead. We open up the vocal portion from 1958 on Studio Records, the Palos out of Cleveland, Ohio, and their tune called High School Dance.
Then we change partners. Do what I do. Rockin' and rollin', rockin' and rollin', rockin' and rollin'. At the high school dance. At the high school dance.
That's 1958 there, the El Palos. That is the A side there, side one on their studio, on the studio record label. The El Palos from 1958, High School Dance. They even have any high school dances. Well, we know they didn't have them for the last 2 years in the years of COVID here, but they used to have it at least when I was in high school in the 1970s. I think at the time even bringing your records, I know it was more of a big thing in the 1950s and early 60s, maybe through the latter 60s too, I couldn't say, but I know my aunt told me she used to bring her records into the dances at the high school. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. Another request last week was for Mike P. He requested the Versatones. I featured Tight Skirt and Tight Sweater. That one on the All-Star record label. It was listener Daryl Letts and Reed King requested the flip side. Now, in the early 1960s, this song was played by a number of jocks in New York, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh. It was DJ Alan Fredericks with his Night Train show. I think Porky Chedwick also pushed this record in the early 60s, and even Slim Rose, and he was the one to convince Fenway Records out of Pittsburgh to re-release it in 1960, where it charted. It charted in Pittsburgh back in 1960. Then Jerry Blavat began playing it in 63, and I think Atlantic put it out then, but they reissued it. But nothing is really known about this group, but I'm featuring it on the original label, the All-Star label, from March of 1958. These are the Versatones, and their cool tune. It's called Baila. Johnny G getting caught with the records here. All the excitement at the beginning of the show. Let me just cue that 45 up. There you go. Those are the Versatones. Versatones there from March 1958 on the original label, featured on All-Star Records. Song entitled Baila. They like that one there on the YouTube chat room. You know, we count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s edition. I don't do that on my Monday night show, and I kind of go random in the mid-1960s. But for the 50s show, I try to portray the music as it developed in the years, because I think it's actually a pretty good historical kind of presentation of the music. It takes a lot of time. It does take Johnny G a lot of time to present it this way, but I like to do it this way. Some people can come in the early stages. They like a lot of the early sides. Other people like the late 50s. Other people like the transitional stuff in the early 1960s. And we're going to start it off tonight from 1953. It's a request for listener Tom Shaughnessy. We go to Baltimore, Maryland with this group. They signed with Sid Nathan's King record label, and Tom requested their 11th release for King. It features the great Eddie Rich on lead. We go back to November 1953, way before Johnny G was born. I wouldn't say way, but like 5 years prior to me. My mother wasn't even out of high school yet. She was a junior in high school, but it's November 53. Give a listen to Eddie Rich and the Swallows on the King record label. It's called I'll Be Waiting.
I am the one who's waiting for you. Though we had drifted apart, each day and night since you left, I've been blue. I thought your love was true. What can I do? But I'll keep waiting for you, my dear, wishing for you to return. But I hope you'll be true to the one who loves you. Until then, I'll be waiting, just waiting for you.
They don't make records like that anymore, do they? They do not. Those are the Swallows out of Baltimore, Maryland. November 1953 release, Sid Nathan's King record label, the great Eddie Rich on lead, song entitled I'll Be Waiting. Johnny G will be waiting here, spinning my 45s. Let's continue. We move into 1954 now with a request for listener Daniel Kubacki. He requested the great Lamplighters out of Los Angeles, California. They had 12 releases on Sid Nathan's Federal label for this one. We went from his King to Federal Records. This is their fourth, with Thurston Harris on lead. Of course, you know Thurston Harris went on to have some cool hits on the Aladdin record label, like Little Bitty Pretty One, but prior to that, he was the lead singer for the Lamplighters. This one from April 1954, the Lamplighters going out to Daniel. It's called Tell Me You Care.
Tell me, if you still care. come to you. Any place and anywhere. My friends all told me you were me, but still the fact remain to be seen. And if I could, darling, I would be the man. I know I should. You've got to tell me, yes, tell me you care.
Tell me you care.
Sweetheart, I'll pray day by day. You'll finally say things my way. I guess I knew it. You finally did it. And now I'm in despair. I give my life, my everything. If you would only tell me you care. You've got to tell me. Tell me you care. Tell me you care.
Those are the Lamplighters. Lamplighters going out to Daniel Kubacki, April 1954. On the Federal record banner there, that with Thurston Harris on lead. It's also a song that he wrote. It's called Tell Me You Care is the name of the tune. Tell Johnny G you care about the Vinyltreasure show by subscribing to my YouTube channel. You can also email me with requests at vinyltreasures@aol.com. If I have the 45, I'll feature it for you. I'm still buying records. I bought a record last week. I couldn't find my original copy of it. I don't know if I sold it or it broke or whatever, but it wasn't where it should have been, so it's missing. It wasn't that much, but I ended up buying it again, so you will hear it tonight, as a matter of fact. But let's continue here on last week's Vinyltreasure show. I played a request for Amnon. Amnon requested The Counts, the great group The Counts out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Featured their third release on Randy Wood's Dot record label. It was called She Won't Say Yes. Now, listener George Tompkins asked Johnny G to flip it over. Actually, this is one of my favorite tunes by the Counts. This one from July of 1954, the great Chester Brown on lead. These are the Counts on the Dot label with My Dear, My Darling, for George.
My dear, my darling, I'm so glad that you come home to me. All my life, my love, my own to be. My dear, my darling, I've missed you. My dear, my darling, I'm so happy that you're here at last. And I'm glad to know what's past is past. Oh, how I long to kiss you. My nights will no longer be lonely. My days will be filled with joy. My mornings I'll share with you only. Just like dear, my darling, I need you. Will I let you go? 'Cause my darling dear, I love you so. My dear, my darling, you're mine at last. My dear, my darling, say you're mine.
Those are the Counts, the great Counts there with Chester Brown on lead. July 1954 release, Randy Wood's Dot record label, My Dear, My Darling. That's going out to George Tompkins there. Great tunes by the Counts. Too bad I think they've all passed away. I think a lot of these groups, at least these early groups, the singers are all gone, but we remember them here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's stay in 1954 with a request for listener Joe Shacatano. Now, this is on the Hickory record label. Hickory Records, at least the early stages of Hickory Records, not really known as a vocal group harmony record label. Most of the releases, especially at this time, were either country western or pop or boppers. Although this group is out of Nashville, Tennessee, and believe it or not, they have 3 releases on the Hickory record label. This is their second. It was written by the lead singer. His name is Jim Sweeney. Jim Sweeney also had solo releases later on. He had some, so I know I have a couple, I think on Columbia, also on the Date label possibly, but this is on Hickory Records, and it's by request for Joe Shacatano. August 1954. They're called the Varieteers. The Varieteers on Hickory Records. It's called I Pay with Every Breath. For Joe.
Here am I, so sad and lonely. Fool was I to seal my fate. She trusted me and I deceived her. Now I pay with every breath I take. I played around with fate, but now I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but what good does it do? I broke her heart in two. I brought her sorrow, but I never thought she'd find somebody new. Oh, but now I know how much I love her. Now I care, but it's too late. She's gone, and now the tears every breath I take.
Every breath I take.
I bet you some of you guys never heard that tune, and gals never heard that tune on the Hickory label. I know some of you guys, though. I know George Tompkins has for sure. Those are the Varieteers, Jim Sweeney and the Varieteers, by request for Joe Shacatano, August 1954, on the Hickory record banner. I Pay With Every Breath is the name of the tune. Johnny G paying with every breath of work. My final day at work will be May 6th. It is now ironed out. May 6th is my final date. I'll be off probably 10 days prior to that. They wanted me to take my vacation days the last 2 weeks. I have to take Fridays off. I got things to do Friday afternoons, but that is the deal. That's how it goes. My last I'm counting down the days now to April 21st. That will be my last probably work day, because I got to bring my PC back. I got to drive into Newark. Got to bring my PC. I got some supplies here. My monitors. I got to bring that all back there. But anyway, that is the countdown as we count down the music chronologically here on the Vinyltreasure Show. But we are still in 1964, and here's a request for Evan Blatt. Where is Evan Blatt? Haven't seen Evan for a while, but this group hails from Philadelphia. This is their first, their first three releases came out on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy Records, which is out of Newark, New Jersey, and Evan requested their second, written by the second tenor of the group. His name is John Wesley Hayes, but it features George Tinley. He is on lead here. This is going out to Evan. This is the A-side from October 1954. Give a listen to The Dreams. The Dreams on the Savoy label. It's called I'm Losing My Mind. For Evan.
Here I stand in my sorrow, lost my girl. There's no tomorrow. I'm so sad, so sad. I'm losing my mind. Losing my mind. Well, now I know that since we parted, I'd be the one so broken-hearted. I'm so sad, so sad. I'm losing my mind. Losing my mind. Try to make you happy. Try to make you gay. I do my best to please you in each and every way. Told me that you love me, that you'll always be true. But how can you love me and do the things you do? Well, now I know that since we parted, I'd be the one so broken-hearted. I'm so sad, so sad. I'm losing my mind. Losing my mind. Try to make you happy. Try to make you gay. I did my best to please you in each and every way. Told me that you love me, that you'll always be true. But how can you love me and do the things you do? Well, now I know that since we parted, I'd be the one so broken-hearted. I'm so sad, so
as George Tinley and the Dreams, going out to Evan Blatt, October 1954. Their second release on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy Records out of Newark, New Jersey, I'm Losing My Mind. Johnny G loses his mind every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. That is a fact. As we move into 1955, now we go out to California to Larry Goldberg and Al Schlesinger's R&B record label for this singer formerly sang with Gene Forrest and the Four Feathers on the Aladdin label back in 1953. His name is Earl Curry. Here he is with an uncredited Blenders group backing him up, and this is the second of two on the R&B record label for Earl Curry and the Blenders, January 1955. The song is called Dream.
Love would be wonderful, love would be fine, if fate connects your love and mine. Our thrills would last longer, chills would be stronger, if fate connects your love and mine.
You might as well forget her, she's from the angel land. This is her first time here on earth, she never even saw a man.
Kissing would be sweeter, living would be divine, if fate connects your love and mine.
Even saw a man.
Kissing would be sweeter, living would be divine, if fate connects your love and mine.
Wait, we've been trying to tell you there's no need in stealing.
Why?
If you pinch yourself real hard, you find you only dreaming.
If I'm dreaming, I don't ever want to wake up. Darling, did you hear what they said? They said I was dreaming. Come to me, baby, quick. Let me make love to you. Let me make love to you before I wake up. I don't ever want to wake up. I don't ever want to wake up. I don't ever want to wake up.
That's Earl Curry and the uncredited Blenders there, the second of two on the R&B record label, January 1955, song entitled Dream. Of course, their classic Late Rising Moon is one of their cool tunes, actually the one right before this one. We continue. Here we are in 1955. Up next, a request for listener Joe Shacatano, and this is interesting because this request for Joe was also a 45 that my aunt purchased. It's not really a R&B doo-wop, but it's nice harmony, and I say that because I'm sure she heard this song on WINS, W-I-N-S, here in New York City, because Alan Freed played this record. Was a number one record on WINS in New York City. It was also number one in Pittsburgh on WJAS, KQV, and WCAE. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this quartet was based out of the state of Tennessee, and they were spotted on the Arthur Godfrey talent show by A&R man for Columbia Records. That's Mitch Miller, who really wasn't a fan of rhythm and blues vocal group harmony. That's why you don't really find a lot of early vocal group harmony on the Columbia record label. It is on the OK label, so I guess they figured, oh, we got a label for that. Let's keep it separate. But a lot of companies, they just intermingled a lot of the different genres of the music, and especially a label like Columbia. But anyway, that's another story. But Joe requested this group called the Four Voices. They had 16 releases on Columbia, none really a big hit. I think only 2 of their records charted nationally, I think later on in maybe mid-1956 or so. But this is their debut single that came out in May of 1955. And as I said, Alan Freed had this as a #1 record on WINS, and it features Alan Chase on lead, and this was in my aunt's collection. Among all her Valentines and all her Cadillacs, etc. This one from May 1955 by request for Joe Shacatano. These are the Four Voices on Columbia. The song is called Honest Darling, parentheses, Believe Me, for Joe.
Honest darling, believe me, you're the only one. That's why I rush to meet you when the day is done. Honest darling, believe me, you're so heavenly. I'd just be lost without you, like a ship at sea. When you're close to me and kiss me tenderly, you can't realize what it does to me. Honest darling, believe me, cross my heart, it's true. I know that I will always be in love with you. When you're close to me and kiss me tenderly, you can't realize what it does to me. Honest darling, believe me, cross my heart, it's true. I know that I will always be in love with you.
That's going out to Joe Shacatano there, Alan Chase, and the Four Voices. May 1955 release a big #1 record on WINS here in New York City on the Columbia label, Honest Darling, parentheses, Believe Me. Believe Johnny G, I spin only original vinyl 45s. This next record was the hardest one for me to get on the Glory record label, and it took me a while. I probably added this maybe about 5 years ago, but I was looking for it for a long time. As we go back to Baltimore, Maryland, it's actually a request for listener Mnon. Now, initially, this group recorded for Savoy Records as the Four Buddies with the lead singer Larry Harrison, and then after they broke up, Larry formed another group, and he named them the Barons. They recorded for Decca Records starting in 1954. Then in 1955, they signed with Phil Rose's Glory record label for this one release, and Larry changed the name of the group again. This time, not the Four Buddies, he changed it to the Buddies, and it's a request for Mnon, and it was written by the lead singer. It's Larry Harrison on lead, March 1955. Give a listen to the Buddies on the Glory label. This is going out to Mnon. It's called I Waited.
I waited just a little too long. Yes, I waited only to find I was wrong. I waited too long for you, for you. Yes, I waited, 'cause I thought you'd be true. Just sat and waited. Now I'm the one who's blue. I waited too long for you, for you. I feel oh so shame. I know you're to blame, and when I hear your name, well, it drives poor me insane. I waited just a little too long. Yes, I waited only to find I was wrong. I waited too long for you, for you. Waited only to find I was wrong. I waited too long for you. I waited for you.
Those are the Buddies there from March 1955 by request for Mnon, Larry Harrison, and the Buddies on the Glory record label. I waited, and I knew running through my mind, I said, was this an answer record? Yes, the Four Buddies had a big hit in 1951 with I Will Wait on the Savoy label, a big R&B hit for the group, and that is the answer tune. Thank you, Andrew and George. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, this is a special request, this record by Mike Sape, dedicating it to listener George Tompkins, as we go to Greenville, North Carolina for this gal, and she recorded on Sid Nathan's Deluxe record label. This is her third of four, a song that she wrote, and her name is Elaine Gay, and she's being backed up by a gospel group. They're called the Five Harmonaires, and this is requested by Mike Sape, but dedicated to listener George Tompkins. We go back to January 1955, Elaine Gay and the Five Harmonaires on the deluxe record label. It's called Ebony Eyes for George.
Why do I love them? They torture me so. Why do I want them? I can't let them go. They're just an evil pair that can't realize I love them. Ebony eyes. Why do I miss them? I see them every day. Why do I kiss them? They just want to play. They're just an evil pair that can't realize I love them. Ebony eyes. Now Johnny's eyes are blue as the ocean, and Tommy's eyes are gray as stormy skies, and Billy's are as green as any cat you've ever seen. But I have to fall in love with two black eyes. Why do I love them? They torture me so. Why do I want them? I can't let them go. They're just an evil pair that can't realize I love them. Ebony eyes.
Why do I love them? They torture me so. Why do I want them? Can't let them go.
Oh, they're just an evil pair that can't realize I love them. Ebony eyes.
That's from January 1955. That's Elaine Gay and the Five Harmonaires. That's on Sid Nathan's deluxe record label. Song entitled Ebony Eyes. That's a dedication from Mike Sape to George Tompkins. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we are in 1956 now, and this is the very first release for Little Anthony. Although he wasn't Little Anthony at the time, he was Anthony Bourdain at the time. He was the lead singer of a group called the Duponts. They were out of Brooklyn, New York. This came out on Paul Winley's Winley record label. We go back to August 1956. Give a listen to the Duponts on the Winley label and their tune called Must Be Falling in Love.
Boom, 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 boom. Jump, tweet, go the bird in the tree, please. Oh, what happened to me? Gee, I must be falling in love. Come on, you guys and gals, gather round. I'm gonna tell you what I found. I found that I'm falling in love. Is there a doctor in the house? Heart is hit the house. Every time I look at her, my head goes spinning around. Oh, my friend, don't you know that I must be falling in doctor in the house, my heart is beating so loud. Every time I look at her, my head goes spinning around.
Don't you know? Don't matter, I must be falling in love. Love, 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 must be falling in love. Must be falling in love. Falling in love.
Those are the Duponts there from August 1956. Anthony Guardine, the lead singer for the Duponts on Paul Winley's Winley record label. Must Be Falling in Love is the name of the tune. Of course, Paul Winley would sell the master to Herman Lubinsky, owner of Savoy Records, and he re-released it, adding lots more instrumentation to it and kind of editing it. And then it came out in 1958. He was trying to capitalize at the time on the Imperials' big hit for George Gollner on N Records' Tears on My Pillow, but totally different. It sounds like it's missing something on there, really. So he added more instrumentation to it. And a few collectors out there, the true first press has to have like these actually 4 lines. I'll show it to you. Not the one single line. There needs to be like double lines, 4 double lines there. You'll see it. I'll show it to those of you watching Johnny G on YouTube. Let's continue here on Vinyl Treasures. And on last week's Vinyl Treasures show, featured the Startones, a request for Emnon on Eddie Heller's Rainbow record label. They were from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Featured the side called Forever My Love. It was listener George Tompkins asked Johnny G to flip it over. So we're going to do this for George here. This one from May 1956. They're called the Startones on Rainbow Records. Matthew Morales, he is the lead singer on this. The song is called I Love You So Dearly. This is for George.
I love you so dearly. In my dreams I see you so clearly. Oh yes, oh yes, I'm sure I want your love forevermore. Give me your answer, dear. Don't leave me in the dark. Tell me if you care, because you have taken my heart. I fell for you at first sight. I dream of you most every night. Say you'll be mine till the end of time, and I promise to treat you right. Give me your answer, dear. Don't leave me in the dark. Tell me if you care, because you have taken my heart. I fell for you at first sight. I dream of you most every night. Please be mine till the end of time, and I promise to treat you right. Yes, I love you so dearly. In my dreams I see you so clearly. Oh yes, Yes, I'm sure I want your love forevermore.
May 1956 release there for the Startones. Startones on Eddie Heller's Rainbow record label, I Love You So Dearly, that one there with Matthew Morales on lead. Of course, this group would later on in early 1960s record as the Carnations on Les K Records, if you know the tune Long Tall Girl. Let's continue here in 1956 with a request for listener Timothy in our YouTube chat room. Now, this next song would become a monster hit in 1964 for Millie Small. Millie Small, I think maybe a number one hit for her in 1964. But Timothy requested the original, and the tune written by Robert Spencer. Robert Spencer was a member of the Cadillacs. Now, this singer, she was 14 years old, and she's from Brooklyn, New York, and she was discovered by later convicted mobster Corky Vistola. And this is a mob record. If this is a mob records in all categories. Actually, if you were involved in the Darl record label, you were involved with you were involved with the mobsters, because they own this label. And then Morris Levy got involved because he wanted Robert Spencer to sign over the rights to the song, and I think eventually he did. So the writer credits on this are they still let Robert Spencer keep his writer credit, but the owner of the label, his name is Johnny Roberts. He was another guy that you didn't want to mess around with, so this was. If these were your buddies, you were fine. But and you have to go along with these guys. Okay, they were all good fellas back then in the 1950s, especially for this. But you know what? They discovered this 14-year-old Brooklynite. Her name is Barbie Gay, and this was actually played on the charts. Alan Freed played this record in 1956, early 1957. It was the first of two for Barbie Gay. This is on the Darl record label. This is going out to Timothy, December 56, Barbie Gay on Darl, and the original version of My Boy Lollipop.
My boy Lollipop, you make my heart go hippity-hop. You're as sweet as candy, you're my loving dandy. Oh, my boy Lollipop, never ever leave me, because it would grieve me. My heart told me so. I love you, I love you, I love you so.
That's going out to Timothy in our YouTube chat room there. Barbie Gay, the original version of My Boy Lollipop, December 1956 release on the Darl label, Darl Records. And I have this on a 70. I have 2 records on a 78, believe it or not. There's other records on this label that I do have, kind of like popish sounding, but I do have them in the collection, I have to say. But anyway, just because it was mob related doesn't mean it's a bad record, because I actually like that record. I remember talking to my aunt about this record. She remembers hearing it on the charts also. Johnny G here on a on a Saturday evening spinning original vinyl 45s. Let's continue here. Let's go back to Herman Lubinsky's Savoy record label. This is a request for listener Ronnie Sherman. Thank you, Ronnie, for your email as always. And you can send your request to Johnny G at vinyltreasures@aol.com. As Ronnie Sherman did. He selected this group out of Harlem, New York, consisted of Benny Israel, David and Tafari McConman, and the lead singer Lee Witherspoon. Collectively, they were known as the Cubs. This is their only release, and one I remember from Oldies Radio when I used to listen to the collector shows back in the early 1970s. Going out to Ronnie Sherman, September 56, the Cubs on Savoy. It's called I Hear Wedding Bells.
Oh, 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 oh.
Yes, darling, those wedding bells are ringing, and they explain the real meaning of a true love. And soon, my darling, will be united in marriage by the Father up above.
Those are the Cubs going out to Ronnie Sherman, September 1956 release, I Hear Wedding Bells. That one there on the Savoy record banner. We continue in 1956, finally getting to flip over a 45 that I played February 12th of 2022. On that show, I featured Jimmy Jones and the Pretenders on George Goldner's Rama record label. The song was called Lover. The flip side is also excellent, written by the bass of the group. His name is Andrew Barksdale. Was also with the Sparks of Rhythm when Jimmy was a member of the Sparks of Rhythm. But this 45 issued twice, first on Rama 207 in September of 56, 1956. Then in October came out on Rama 210, and I'm featuring the 210 Rama on the turntable number 1. We go back to October 1956 for Jimmy Jones and the Pretenders on the Rama label. It's called Plain Old Love.
Boo, 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 boo.
What sets your soul on fire? What fills your heart with desire? As sure as the stars up above, it's plain old love. What makes you cry night and day? What makes you kneel down and pray? As sure as the stars up above, it's plain old love. When your heart starts to yearning, and you get that gleam in your eye, it's nothing but plain old love. So don't feel surprised. What made you want to live? What made you want to forgive? As sure as the stars up above, it's plain old love.
When your heart starts
Yearning, and you get that gleam in your eye, it's nothing but plain old love. So don't feel surprised. What made you want to live? What made you want to forgive? As sure as the stars up above, it's plain old
As Jimmy Jones and the Pretenders there, October 1956. The flip side of Lover, a song entitled Plain Old Love. That one there on George Goldner's Rama record label. We are in the year 1956 now. Last week, I played a request for Robert in California by the Twilighters. The song was called Eternally. Featured it on Dick Huggy Boy Hug's Caddy record label. Now, the flip side, or the original flip side of the record was called I Believe, which was first pressed on the first Caddy issues as a song by the New Tones from 1954. It was later replaced with this version that I'm featuring. That is a request for listener George Tompkins. It features Charles Wright on lead, and this one from October 1956. This is the later press, actually the more easier of the two presses, even though it's not really an easy record to find. But these are the Twilighters from October 1956 on the Caddy label. Going out to George Tompkins, the song is called I Believe.
Let God be first. You are second or none. My love is for you and no other one. I believe in you. 'cause I believe in you. Let God be first, no other one. We can be good and still have fun. I believe in what you do. I know you'll be true, 'cause I believe in you.
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure show. Those are the Twilighters. That is Charles Wright and the Twilighters going out to George Tompkins. October 1956, I believe, is the name of that one. First issued on the Caddy label. That is how I played it. Also, you can get this on the Dot label because Dot picked it up. Randy Wood picked it up for national distribution. We continue here. We move into 1957. This is a request for Daniel Kubacki. This group is out of Atlanta, Georgia. It's their lone release that came out on Al Silver's Herald Records. Now, this 45 produced by Bill Lowry. Lowry was the owner of the NRC label and also of Lowry Music, and it's a request for Daniel. This is from November of 1957. These are the 5 Debonairs. I have this on a West Coast Monarch press, which I'm not crazy about, but I do have a mint DJ copy, but it's just the Debonairs, which they later had to change this from the 4 Debonairs to the Debonairs. But anyway, it's a great tune, actually, for going out to Daniel. The 5 Debonairs on Herald. It's called Darlin'.
Dom dom doobin dom dom dooby dooby dom dom doobin
darling, how I want you, and how I need you. I love you so, please, darling, don't ever leave me, and don't see me. I need you so. Oh well now, darling, I want you so. Darling, I need you. I never, ever let you go, darling. Please don't leave me, and don't deceive me. I need you so.
Has gone out to Daniel Kubacki. Those are the five Debonairs, November 1957 on the Herald record banner. The song is called Darlin' with an apostrophe, no G on that. When it was repressed as just the Debonairs, it said Darling with a G. Now, I do have, this is a nice clean copy. I do have the East Coast press of the five Debonairs, but it's not in great shape. It's kind of whipped, but it's an East Coast press, which I prefer. I'm not really crazy about the Herald and the Ember West Coast presses. I do love the VJs and the Chess and the and one more label. I forget what it is. VJ, Chess, and is it Argo possibly? But anyway, I love those West Coast labels for that, but not these Embers and Heralds. No, I don't. Johnny G babbling on here. We are in the year 1957. Let's go back out to California, San Diego, California for this next group. And they have this one release on Charlie Reynolds' Flash record label, Flash Records out of Los Angeles. Another one of the thousands of labels that your host, Johnny G, collects. This one here from October 1957. They're called the Hornets. The Hornets on the Flash label. Nip Roman is on lead. The Hornets here with Crying Over You.
Crying over you all the night, wishing for your love, knowing I can't have you. Darling, I spend all my time crying over you, crying over you. A heart that's untrue, you can stop the tears. Oh, please make it soon. Darling, I pray that time will heal my wound. You said that you would wait until the end of time, but yesterday was eternity. Today you're no longer mine, crying over you. All the night through, just waiting and wondering, not knowing what to do. Darling, I spend all my time crying over you.
That's the sound of the Hornets here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, October 57. Flash Records, Crying Over You is the name of the tune. We continue now and featured this side really not too long ago, but re-requested again by Robert in California. Great two-sided 45, by the way, on the Eddie and Leo Messner's Aladdin, Aladdin record label. And you would think this group was from the West Coast, but they are not. They are really from Brooklyn, New York, discovered by Aladdin's talent office that was stationed here in New York City. Lots of labels on the West Coast were looking for talents in major cities throughout the United States back in the 1950s, but they were called the Crystals, not to be confused with the Phil Spector Crystals. But this is from February 1957 by request for Robert in California. The Crystals on Aladdin. It's called I Do Believe.
I do believe my God above created you for me to love. He picked you out from all the rest because he knew I loved you best. I once had a heart so brave and true, but now it's gone from me to you. Take care of it as I have done, for you have to, and I have none. I do believe the God above created you for me to love. He picked you out from all the rest because he knew I loved you best. When I get to heaven, I'll say a prayer and write your name on the golden stairs. Then all the angels can come and see that I loved him as he loves me. Da, 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 da. Ah, 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 ah.
Girl group sounds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. It's going out to Robert in California. They're called the Crystals. February 57 release on Aladdin Records. I Do Believe. Johnny G does believe that I play only original vinyl 45s. You can see it, and sometimes you can hear it with the scratches. But I wish I had everything in mint. Unfortunately, I do not. So, but I try to. I try my best. And this one's not in bad shape, I will say. But on the February 12, 2022 Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for listener Daniel Kubacki. He requested the Elvinos. They were out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Their release on the RCA subsidiary Vic label. He requested My Heart Beats Faster. I think, Daniel, you said you also like the flip. Well, I like the flip. And I told Charlene, I said, we're going to play the flip side here, or at least we're going to get to it one day before I file it back down in the no humidity basement. And it's another duet between Leon Daniels and Anna Mae Jackson. And they both composed this tune. We go back to November 1957. We'll send it out to Daniel. I think you said you liked the flip, Daniel. Tell me if I'm wrong. The Elvinos on the Vic label. It's called You Must Be True.
Why don't you answer every time I call? You never listen to me, no, not at all. You know I love you, but you won't be true.
Saw you last night and the night before, walking down the street with your
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Elvinos from November 1957. The flip side of My Heart Beats Faster. We'll send it out to Daniel Kubacki on the Vic record label. You Must Be True is the name of the tune. George mentions he thinks they were husband and wife. Now, Anna Mae Jackson, of course, also recorded on the Memo label as Ann Keith. And this song, both sides, A and B sides, were issued by RCA during the 60s revival, 1964, so you can get it much cheaper on the RCA record label. Got to say hi to my high school schoolmate Robert Neal, listening in Florida, and he said that Four Voices record was really shiny. Well, it had some scratches in it. If you see my aunt's original copy of that, it is totally trashed. It is, and that is a quiet record too. Anyway, but let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in 1957. We go out to Phoenix, Arizona for this next group, and they first recorded on the Liberty Bell label as the Tads back in 1956. Then they changed their name to the Dots, and they had this release on the Rev record label. Actually, it's a cover. This song was first recorded by the Ivy Leaguers on the Porter label. I think Porter Dot Records also put it out. But this one from November 57. It features Leroy Fully Love on lead. Give a listen to the Dots on the Rev label, their rendition of the tune Ring Chimes.
I never thought the sun could shine so bright until I saw you step into the light. I waited such a long, long time to hear those church bells ring their chime. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. Ring time, ring time, ring time, ring time, ring for me. Well, the moon and stars on the glow last night. It was a perfect time to hold you tight, to say the lovely word that you'll be mine. And then I listened to those church bells chime. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. Ring time, ring time, ring time, ring time, ring for me. I heard you whisper, soft and true. You whispered, darling, I love you. Your eyes are sparkle, your lips like wine.
And when we kissed, I heard those church bells.
Ring time, ring time, ring time, ring for me. Ring time, ring time, ring time, ring for me. Well, now that my lover is so far away, I only hope, yes, hope and pray that she'll come back and she'll be mine. And then I listen to those church bells chime. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. Ring time, ring time, ring time, ring time, ring for me. Well, the moon and stars all glow last night. It was a perfect time to hold you tight, to say those lovely words that you'll be mine. And then I listen to those church bells chime.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. The Dots there. Leroy Fully Love and the Dots on the Rev record label. Ring Chimes, a cover of Ring Chimes there from November 1957. We continue now. We move into 1958 for this singer from Durant, Mississippi. and he wanted to be a boxer, but it never really panned out for him. Instead, his career turned to music, singing, and songwriting, and this was his debut single on the 4-Star record label. And 4-Star Records, of course, another label similar to Hickory Records, not known for their R&B. They were more known for their country and boppers than R&B. But this was his debut single. It was a song he wrote, and this is By Request for Sterling. Sugar Bear Sterling, where are you? He's going to listen on the archive, I'm pretty sure. But to go to June 1958 for Jim Holiday and the Future Tones on 4-Star Records. It's called All I Want Is You. This is By Request for listener Sterling.
I don't want the moon, don't want the stars, don't want Venus, don't want Mars. All I want is you. Don't want no gold, no diamond, don't want no queen or any other girl. All I want is you. Oh, darling, why can't you see what you mean to me? I want to make you my wife. Make you my wife. But if you should say no, where would I go? And what would I do with my life? No, I don't want the sun, don't want the sky. My heart would tell me when I look in your eyes. All I want is you. All I want is you. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me you want me to. No, 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 no. No one else will do.
As By Request for Sugar Bear Sterling, that's June 1958 for Jim Holiday and the Future Tones on the 4-Star record label. Song entitled All I Want Is You. Now, this Jim Holiday, he would later record as Jimmy Holiday with releases on Everest and KT and Kent and Diplomacy and Tip and Dial and Minute and other labels into the 1960s, of course. But that's going out to Sugar Bear. As we continue here on Vinyl Treasures, we are in 1958. Now, last week, I featured the Gainers out of Philadelphia, a group out of Philly, and the song called The Secret actually was a request for listener Joe Shacatano. Then George Tompkins asked me if I could play the cover as done. Well, actually, take it back. Joe requested a song by the Gainers called The Secret. Yeah, I did say it. I thought I didn't say it. But listener George Tompkins asked if I could feature the version by Otis, Williams, and the Charms. And we're going to do it instantly right here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, this charted number 50 on WOHO in Toledo, Ohio. We go back to October 1958. This is for George, Otis Williams, and the Charms on Deluxe, and their version of the tune, The Secret.
The secret, I know a secret, a story I'll never tell, about two sweethearts who love each other. He is my best friend, she is his girl.
first time I saw her, I couldn't resist her. Her beauty gave me a thrill. She was so lovely, and I adored her. I fell in love with my best friend's couldn't resist her. Her beauty gave me a thrill. She was so lovely, and I adored her. I fell in love with my best friend's girl, and that's my secret. Oh yes, my secret. Nobody knows it, no one but I. And I will love her. Yes, I will love her. But that's my secret until I die.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That one there by request. For George Tompkins, October 1958, Otis Williams and the Charms on Deluxe. Song entitled The Secret. Otis Williams and the Charms, a great group out of Cincinnati, Ohio. How about a twin spin by the Charms? And this is a request for Joe Shacatano. Again, this great group out of Cincinnati, Ohio had well over 50 releases on the Deluxe and King labels between 1953 and 1963. And this is also one of my favorites. First introduced to me, of course, George Tompkins played this on his show, and I found a copy in the wild. Actually, I still need to upgrade this because I played the heck out of this 45, and it's a request for Joe Shacatano, February 1958. We go back to Otis Williams and his Charms. This is a twin spin on the Deluxe label. It's called Let Some Love in Your Heart, going out to Joe.
Why don't you get some love, take some love, find some love, you have to make some love, darling, get some, let some love in your heart, so you can share some love, choose some love, dare some love, don't ever lose some, darling, get some, let some love in your heart. Every man, woman, and child should always wear a smile upon their faces. To a girl and a boy, love brings happiness and joy and sets the pace
That's our twin spin on Otis Williams and his charms. February 58 there. Going out to Joe Shacatano. Let Some Love in Your Heart. That one there on Deluxe Records. Tune written, by the way, by R&B singer Danny Overby. Danny Overby had some cool songs for Checker Records, like A Toast to Lovers and Train, Train, Train and 40 Cups of Coffee. I have those 45s in Johnny G's collection. Let's continue here on Vinyl Treasures. And speaking of the Gainers out of Philadelphia, they never really had a national hit, but this was a request for Reed King. Where is Reed tonight? But they had a total of 8 singles, I think in total for the Gainers. Initially, they signed with Red Top Records, and they had their first release in late 1958, but late 1957. Then four masters were sold to Cameo Records, and the result were 2 singles. And last week we heard their first single. Reed requested their second release on the Cameo label, and the song written by group member Sam Bell, but again Garnet Mims, he's on lead here. This one from December 58. These are the Gainers on the Cameo record label. Their tune called You Must Be an Angel. This is for Reed.
You must be an angel, heaven's gift to the world. Just to see your smile makes my life worthwhile. I love you so much. You're as faithful as the stars that shine above us. You're as faithful as the sun that shines, as faithful as the years may come and they may go. I'm glad God made you mine. That's why I must have you all. No one in this whole wide world will do. I must have your charm. It's heavenly in your arm. I love you, yes I do. Love birds serenade you, flowers bloom at your touch. I need that thrill that dreams can't feel. I love you, I love you so
As going out to Reed King by request, the Gainers, Garnet Mims, and the Gainers' December 1958 release on the Cameo record label, You Must Be an Angel. That's one of their harder records to find. It's not that easy to find that release on the Cameo label. We continue. We are in 1958 now in the last 50's show. Played a request for Robert in California. He requested this girl group called the Fawns. They were out of Brooklyn, New York, and a wonderful ballad called Until I Die. Lead singer for the group, that was Cleo Barker. She was also lead of Cleo and the Crystaliers and on the Johnson Cindy labels, but it was Darrell Letts and George Tompkins that requested the flip side of this 45 on the Apt label, ABC Paramount subsidiary Apt Records. So let's flip over Until I Die from October 1958, going out to George and Darrell. These are the Fawns, called Come On, parentheses, and Love Me. October 58 release for the Fawns. The Fawns there. Cleo Barker and the Fawns on the Apt record label. Come On, parentheses, and Love Me is the name of the tune. We are in 1958 here, and last week I opened up the Vinyltreasure show with a classic 45 out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Actually, the group is out of Cincinnati, Ohio. The label's out of Indianapolis, Indiana, at least the first press, Jerry Herman's Note record label. It was the first of two releases for the Students. The Students, Leroy King and the Students, featured the up-tempo side last week called Every Day of the Week. I told you I couldn't file it back without playing the ballad Flip. Again, a record that is embedded in my mind from that Murray the K album, I think for Submarine Race Watchers. But I love both sides of this record. July 1958. Give a listen to the Students, Leroy King and the Students, featuring it on Note Records, their classic called I'm So Young.
I have a girlfriend
Johnny G getting all flustered listening to the students there. Hold on. And plays so good on the RCA press, Note Records, pressed by RCA Records. So that has a wonderful sound to it. July 1958, especially if your shell heads are wired for mono like Johnny G's are. Those are the students there. Leroy King and the Students, July 1958 on the Note label. Every day of no, not every day of the week. I'm so young is the name of the tune. Of course, it was picked up by Checker Records, reissued on Argo. For you collectors out there, if you own it on the Checker label, the true first press of that has real tiny print. The Students, it says the Students with the Jamie Coe Orchestra. It's really small. That is the true first press for those Checker releases. Anyway, hope you're digging on the cool tunes tonight here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We're going to be joining Oldies and More Radio momentarily, but we got a request for Timothy as we go back to Philadelphia, PA, to Artie Singer's Singular record label. And this, of course, is Singular Records, was the first label that Danny and the Juniors had recorded at the Hop. But I have no information about this group called The Tops, and the song co-written by the label owner, Artie Singer. He co-wrote this tune. We go back to March 1958. This is by request for Timothy in our YouTube chat room. These are The Tops on Singular. It's called An Innocent Kiss.
My, oh my, oh my, an innocent kiss. That's what it was meant to be. I just never dreamed what a kiss could do to me.
As by request for Timothy, that is a great tune there. Great tune by The Tops, March 1958 on the Singular record label. Artie Singer's Singular Records out of Philadelphia. An Innocent Kiss is the name of the tune. I went up to visit Ed Sokol. He was, I think he was living up in Mount Kisco, New York, and he had a whole basement full of records. I think I told you this story. So I think what he knew Rich Rosen, and I don't know if he bought or he would purchase Rich Rosen's like throwaway records. I don't know what it was, but he definitely knew Rich Rosen, and he was saving a bunch of records to sell to Rich. And this was in the pile, by the way. This one with the other one was the song Magic on Chart by the True Tones, and then something else on Winley. So he says, do you need these records? And I said, well, yeah, I do. I do need these records. And he goes, how much? I said, well, how much do you want for all three? And I think he told me $35 at the time. I said, I'll take them for $35. And he had other records. It was funny because I said to him on one of the records, I saw not Rich's name. It must have been his sister, because it was a Wren's record. It was the oddball record 11 Roses, and he sold it to me for $1. But maybe Rich Rosen got rid of his sister's 45. I don't know. But I think it was 11 Roses, and her name is on that record. I think it is. I don't know. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. We're welcoming in the Oldies and More Radio Network. Tuning into the Vinyl Treasure Show. We count down the music chronologically here on Saturday nights, and we are in the year 1958, and we're going to Brooklyn, New York now with a request for Joe Shacatano for this group. They had 4 releases on Irv Spice's Mohawk record label, and I know that Fred Clemens is a big collector of the Mohawk record label. I think he's missing at least one record, one or two maybe, on the label, but he has everything. I have a lot of records on Mohawk, but I think I'm missing a couple more than he is. But I remember hearing this song on the Gus Gossett show back in the early 1970s, and it's the group's first release for Lonnie and The Carillons, and it's a request for Joe Shacatano. Came out in April 1958. Now, Lonnie's real name is Irving Brodsky. Irving Brodsky is his real name, but he recorded as Lonnie and The Carillons. It's going out to Joe Shacatano, April 58 on the Green Mohawk label, and the tune is called Chapel of Tears. This is for Joe.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, do. Oh, tears, 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 tears.
Down in the chapel of tears, where I first met her. Oh, how people cheered. Tell me why, oh, why do you cry? Oh, as you walk by, you can hear the people sing, talking and singing, all you and me. Tell me why, oh, why do you cry? In the chapel of tears, I will love you
jazz going out to Joe Shacatano there, though. That's Lonnie and the Carillons. Lonnie and the Carillons there from Lost My Place, April 1958. On the Green Mohawk record label, Chapel of Tears is the name of that one. I think, Fred, it comes out on Red also. Does it come out like a red styrene? Maybe that's got to be a later press, of course, because the original should be on the green label. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We go back out to California with this request for George Tompkins. This group is out of Los Angeles, California, and they recorded the first version of this tune, as it was also covered by a group called the Raindrops on the Dore label in 1960. But this is the original release from February 58. They're called the Sliders. The Sliders. This came out on a label called Chevron Records. Is that Chevron the same Chevron? Isn't there Chevron Gas? Could that be the same company with gas and music? I don't know. But anyway, this features Joe Gordon on lead. It actually says it right on the label here. So this is by request for George Tompkins, February 58, the Sliders on Chevron. It's called Love is Like a Mountain.
Love is like a mountain reaching to the sky. I must climb that mountain till the day I die. Oh, love is like a river flowing to the field. I must swim that river till eternity. Oh, let it snow on the mountain. Let it rain on the river too. Let the winds try to drive me back. I'll make my way to you. Oh, love is like the heavens stretching endlessly. I will reach those heavens when you're here with me.
February 58 release there for the Sliders. The Sliders there on the Chevron record label. Love is Like a Mountain there. Joe Gordon, the lead singer on that one there. Different lead for the flip side, which we will get to because George also requested the flip of that. So stay tuned for that next week. I found this record, 35 cents, batch of great records that the guy sold me for 35 cents. This is back in the 1980s, locally here in my town. And it's now kind of impossible to find records in the wild like that. It's not impossible, but it's difficult, I will say. Let's continue here. We are in 1958. We go to Chicago now with this request for Tom Shaughnessy for this group known as the Medallionaires. I love the name of that, the Medallionaires. And the lead singer on this is Willie Wright, who previously was the lead singer of the Serenaders that recorded for the Chief label that I have featured here not so long ago. But he co-wrote this tune. So it's going out to Tom Shaughnessy. This one from May 1958, the Medallionaires on Mercury Records. It's called Magic Moonlight.
Magic moonlight
baby in love with me. Yes, sir. I can make her mine tonight. I'll be so happy. Magic moonlight, I'm so in love. Turn on your magic from up above. Yes, sir. I can make her mine tonight. I'll be so happy. Magic moonlight, magic moonlight, make everything alright. Magic moonlight, hear my plea, I'm so in love with her. Magic moonlight, do this for me. Turn on your magic mystery. Yes, sir. I can make her mine. I'll be so happy. I'll be so happy in the magic
They like that one there in the YouTube chat room. Those are the Medallionaires. May 1958. That's by request for Tom Shaughnessy. Magic Moonlight is the name of the tune on the Mercury record banner for that one. Of course, the lead singer on this, Willie Wright, he would later become a member of the Von Gales that recorded for USA. They do a song called The Twirl, which I do like, by the way. Wasn't the lead on that song, but he was a member of the group. Let's continue here. We are in 1958. This group, I really can't tell you anything about this group. They're called the Majestics, possibly out of Atlanta, Georgia, because it's on Bill Lowry's NRC record label. And this is a request for Sugar Bear Sterling, requested this record on NRC. So I really don't know much about them. The tune written by Van Lambert, whoever that may be. But let's go back to July 1958. They're called the Majestics on NRC. This is for Sugar Bear Sterling. It's called Divided Heart for Sterling.
Da 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 boom bop boom bop boom bop boom bop boom bop boom
If I could take a look inside your heart, then I would know what to do about our love. From the start, if your heart was divided into three parts of your heart, the first one love, the second truth, the third would be the best part of your heart. I hope it's me, then you would treat me differently. That's why I need you. Well, that's the reasons I would love you, the reason you would see if your heart was divided into those separate three. If I could see those separate three inside your heart, love, truth, and me. See those separate three inside your heart, love, truth, and me.
That's going out to Sugar Bear Sterling. Those are the Majestics. Majestics on Bill Lowry's NRC record label, July 1958. Divided Heart is the name of the tune. That one there, NRC Records. Let's go to Queens, New York for this next request. It's for Amnon. The group is called the Larktones. Their debut single came out on the Ricky label. Sammy, I don't know if Sammy Lowe owned the label, but he was definitely involved with this group. But he requested their second release, probably recorded for Ricky Records, and then the master sold to ABC Paramount Records. Again, with Sammy Lowe and the orchestra. It features Leroy Parrish on lead. It's going out to Amnon, March 1958. Give a listen to the Larktones. The Larktones on ABC Paramount Records. It's called The Letter for Amnon.
Darling, why did you go? I thought that you loved me just as much as I love you. Oh, please, please don't say we're through. I'm closing this letter now, hoping that you will answer somehow. Oh, maybe my doorbell will ring.
That's going out to Amnon there. Those are the Larktones, Leroy Parrish and the Larktones. March 1958 release, ABC Paramount Records. The Letter is the name of that one. We are staying in 1958. Lots of requests and cool tunes out of 1958 here. Let's go to Detroit, Michigan for this next request. It's for Daniel Kubacki. This group had a whole bunch of releases between the year 1954 and 64, recording for Devorah Brown's legendary Fortune record label. Now, Daniel requested their 9th release on Fortune, written by the lead singer, Nolan Strong, the lead singer. This is with Ted Walker and his orchestra. This one released in July of 1958. This is for Daniel, Nolan Strong, and the Diablos. On the Fortune label, it's called For Old Times' Sake. For Daniel.
It's too bad we had to break up. Can we try again and darling make up? Can we talk it over again, darling, for old time's sake? It's never too late to make amends. I'm gonna love you until the end. If you love me, say you give in for old difference. Who was to blame that we drifted apart? Isn't that a shame? We're just two foolish people acting crazy and strange, with everything to lose and not a thing to gain. We'll always be more than friends. I'm gonna love you until then. If you love me, say you give in for old time's sake. It's never too late to make amends. I'm gonna love you until then. If you love me, say you give in for
That's the sound of Nolan Strong and the Diablos by request. For Daniel Kubacki, July 1958, their ninth release on the Fortune label. For Old Time's Sake is the name of the tune. For Old Time's Sake, subscribe to Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show on YouTube. Tell your friends. It's not that easy to do a show with original 45s. It actually takes a lot of time and effort. It's not that, it's really easy to drag MP3s. I talked to a bunch of disc jockeys on Oldies and More Radio. It's easy to do, but it's not that easy to actually do a show where you play original records and actually show them. That is a whole new fad that I have created. I don't think anyone does what I do, at least the whole show this way, where you can actually see the records playing and actually see the close-up of the labels. And I got a lot of cool observers out there that are very observant for things of names on the record labels. They search them out. So it is a good thing. You can't really see that. I can't say everything. I try to say some stuff about the records, but it's actually fun to see the labels and all the designs and the colors. Gives an added, and some people don't like to look at it too. They just like to listen, but you can do that too. So you can listen to Oldies and More Radio. You can visually see the records. If you want to glance up at a record, what did it look like? I had this record a long time ago, but it's a lot of fun for me to do it. I'm telling you, it's really the only time I get to listen to my records. So thank you all for tuning in. Tell your friends to subscribe to the Vinyl Treasure Show. We continue here. How about a girl group? These gals were signed to B. Caslin's Hull record label. That's where they recorded both sides of this 45 in her studio, but she didn't put it out on her Hull label. She sold the masters to Leonard Chess, owner of the Chess Checker label, on March 21st of 1958, and he released it 2 months later on his Checker subsidiary. This is from May of 1958. Give a listen to the Starlets. The Starlets on the Checker label. It's called Please Ring My Phone.
Ring, ring, ring. I sit here alone, waiting by the phone, wondering if you call.
Hello, Eddie?
Cool girl group sounds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. They're called the Starlets. May 1958 on the Checker record banner. Please Ring My Phone is the name of the tune. Please ring Johnny G's email. You can send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com with a request. And if I have the 45, I'll feature it for you here on a Saturday evening. Let's continue now. We are in 1958. Up next, a request for Nick Nicola. It's a rare 45 out of East St. Louis, actually East St. Louis, Illinois, for that matter. And I have no info on the group, but I figured out the name of the label. It's actually Sun-Nell. Sun-Nell Records. Actually, it says another Sun-Nell record. I don't know what that means, but the writers of the tune are Sonny Shields and Ray Nelson, hence the label Sun-Nell Records. Now, I don't know anything about this group. They're called the Goodfellows. It's from January 58. This is by request for Nick Nicola. The Goodfellows on Sun-Nell. It's called Another Chance.
Tell me, darling, you love me so. Please, darling, give me another chance. Another chance. Come a little closer, hold me in your arms. Give me, darling, all of your charms. Darling, give me another chance. Another chance. One more chance. I love you so. Want you to know me more to me. Darling, can't you see? Want you in my arms, holding all your charms. Ah, your charm. Oh, do, 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 do. Want to know? Tell me, darling, you love me so. Please, darling, give me another chance. Another chance. One more chance. I love you so. Want you to know. Lean more to me. Darling, can't you see? Want you in my arms, holding all your charms. Ah, your charm. Oh, you so. Want you to know. Tell me, darling, you love me so. Please, darling, give me another chance.
As by request for Nick Nicola, the Goodfellows, their rare 45 on the Sun-Nell record label. Another Chance is the name of that one, released in January of 1958. We move into 1959 now as we head to Brooklyn, New York for this group. Now, the first presses of this record came out on the Antone record label, but it was then second pressed on Mona Lee. Many of you collectors out there, I'm sure, have it on the Mona Lee label, and this tune was actually covered by a number of groups. The Camerons covered it on Felsted, and also the Imaginations recorded the song on the Music Makers label. But this is the original version that I'm featuring on the Antone record label, as done by the Selections. And it features Al Reno on lead, accompanied by the musical group called the Electras. This one from September 59. These are the Selections on the Antone record label. It's called Guardian Angel.
Before I go to bed, I bend my knees and bow my head. I pray to the angels up above. Send someone to love. Ba-da, ba-da, boom-dee-eh-dee-eh. Ba-da, ba-da, boom-dee-eh-dee-eh. Guardian angels up above. I need someone to love. Make her be so sweet and fair. Make her act like golden hair. Ba-da, ba-da, boom-dee-eh-dee-eh. Ba-da, ba-da, boom-dee-eh-dee-eh. God made the oceans and God made the sea. But when God made you, He must have thought of me. Well, 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 well. And God made the sea. But when God made you, He must have thought of me. Well, 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 ba-da, ba-da, boom-dee-eh-dee-eh. Ba-da, ba-da, boom-dee-eh-dee-eh. As I walk the sunny streets, heart starts jumping, then I meet the only girl from high above, the only girl I've ever loved. Ba-da, ba-da, boom-dee-eh-dee-eh. Ba-da, ba-da, boom-dee-eh-dee-eh. Whoa, whoa, yeah, my baby, never let you go.
That's Al Reno and the Selections there, September 59 release on the Antone record label, Guardian Angel. You can also get that on the Monolith label, but is much, much harder on the Antone record label. We are in 1959. We go to New Haven, Connecticut now with a request for George Tompkins. This is on a label called Elgin Records, subsidiary of Drum Records. Now, the vocal lead on this is Bill Baker. Now, he was previously a member of the Five Satins. He filled in as lead singer when Fred Paris went into the service. But he's on a, well, it's not solo, but he's getting credit here, being backed up by the Chestnuts on this one as we go to January 1959. This is on the Elgin label. This is for George. This is Bill Baker and the Chestnuts. It's called Won't You Tell... Wait, did I write this right? Won't You Tell Me My Heart? For George.
Won't you tell me my heart? Is it fated to be? Won't you tell me my heart? Tell me my heart, while I'm holding her tight.
night. Will she be my love forever? Or were we meant to part? Won't you please tell me now? Won't you tell me my heart? Won't you tell me my heart? Won't you tell me my heart?
That's the great sound of Bill Baker and the Chestnuts there. I like that tune in the YouTube chat room. It's a request for George Tompkins, January 1959, Bill Baker and the Chestnuts with Won't You Tell Me My Heart. That one there on Elgin Records. And we continue here in 1959. We go to Bob Shadd's Time record label for this group known as the Chariots. I like both sides of this 45. Now, the A-side charted here in New York City on WMGM. It reached number 25 on their chart. This group is called the Chariots. If we go back to January 1959, the Chariots on the Time record label with a song entitled Gloria.
There's an angel in heaven, I know. I'll tell the world that I love her so. She's Gloria, Gloria, my love, Gloria, my love, every day, and we walk and talk along the way. I'm so happy and she's so gay. She's Gloria, my love. Every night when I'm all alone, I'll sit and stare. Hope she'll call me on the phone. Oh, baby, say you'll be mine. I want you, Gloria, until the end of time. Yes, there's an angel in heaven, I know. I'll tell the world that I love her so. She's Gloria, Gloria, my love. She's Gloria, Gloria, my love.
That's the great sound of the Chariots there. The Chariots from January 1959, Bob Shadd's Time record label, song entitled Gloria. Now, true first presses out there for you collectors have to be on the Blue Time label. I think the red one, that is a later press, although it was second pressed when Slim Rose was selling this record back in 1961. I remember finding my first copy of this. I found it at the Orangeburg 303 Drive-In over in Rockland County. One Sunday afternoon, walking through the flea market there with the stench of there was a garbage a dump not too far away from there, and on a windy day it was horrible going through that flea market. It was, but it was fun, I would tell you that much. Anyway, let's continue here in 1959 for this next group. They're from Tacoma, Washington. They all met while they were stationed in the service when they won first place at a talent contest, which resulted in a trip to Los Angeles. And for this release that came out on Dootsie Williams' Duto record label, it was written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Reuben Martin. This one from March 1959. This is from the radio station library of WPEP, a station up in the state of Maine. Let's give a listen to the Fabulous Pearls. The Fabulous Pearls on Duto Records. Reuben Martin on lead. It's called My Heart's Desire. That's a cool tune there by the Fabulous Pearls. I'm going to send it out to Joe Shacatano, Andrew Turner, and George Tompkins. They love that tune there, the Fabulous Pearls. March 1959, Reuben Martin on lead, My Heart's Desire, came out on Dootsie Williams' Duto Records out of Los Angeles, California. Now, in 1960, this group would go on to record for Dolton Records as the Four Pearls. That's another great tune on the Dolton record label. Let's continue. Here we are in 1959. Here's a request for listener singer Nick Nicola. This group is from the San Gabriel Valley, California, I guess. And they were discovered by Nordy Beckman of Nordy's Music Center in Hollywood, California. And he became the group's manager and released this on a local label, his label called Zenith Records, which is ultra rare. It was then picked up by the label that I have it on, Stack Records, and it was written by the lead singer. His name is Nick Delgado. Nick Delgado on lead. These are the Storytellers by request for Nick Nicola, October 59 on Stack. It's called You Played Me a Fool. This is for Nick.
You played me a fool. The fool, I tried to be true to someone like you. How can I do?
I'll do anything you ask.
If you will forget the past.
If you will forget the past.
Our love will always be.
It will always be.
It will last endlessly. I was the fool.
Actually need an upgrade on that record. I just can't find it. Those are, excuse me, those are the Storytellers there by request for Nick Nicola, October 1959 there. Nick Delgado on lead. You Played Me a Fool is the name of that one. Featured it on the Stack label. We are still in 1959, and here's a 45 I found for 10 cents. 10 cents at the Yonkers Raceway Flea Market in the mid to late 1970s. And it's on Donald Shaw's Neptune Records out of Newark, New Jersey. Now, there is a group backing her up on this. I wonder if it's the El Palos, possibly. I don't know. It could be. But the gal's name is Glenda Green, and she wrote the tune from April 1959. This is on Donald Shaw's Neptune label out of Newark, New Jersey. Glenda Green and an uncredited group. The tune is called He's Gone, parentheses, I Wonder Why.
Do, do, do.
He's gone. Didn't even say goodbye. Left me alone to cry. I wonder why.
is Glenda Green and a group. Maybe the Palos, I don't know who they are, but anyway, Glenda Green, she wrote that tune April 1959 on the Neptune record label. He's Gone, parentheses, I Wonder Why. Johnny G, not gone yet. We're going to do a little bit of overtime, as you know. We always do, but let's continue now. We move into 1960. We go to Philadelphia, PA for this next 45. This is on Mel Schwartz and Doc Bagby's Red Top record label. This group is called the Twilighters. Now, the lead singer of this group is Joseph Jr. Parolo, and also was also the lead of the. No, that's not. Is that right? I don't know if that's right. Tony Moresco's on lead of this one here is what it is. Anyway, this is from 1960. These are the Twilighters on the Red Top label. Features Tony Moresco on lead. The tune is called The Key to My Heart. Out of Philadelphia there, those are the Twilighters. Tony Moresco and the Twilighters, 1960 release, Red Top Records. He also recorded as Tony and the Twilighters. They have another release on Red Top. The Key to My Heart is the name of the tune. Unfortunate for him that he was diabetic, and that was his demise, unfortunately, much too young to leave Tony Moresco. Let's continue. Here we are in 1960. How about another request for listener Ronnie Sherman? Been featuring Asides by the Titans out of Los Angeles, California for the last few weeks. And Ronnie requested their second to last release, which came out on Art Roop's Fidelity label. Now, this features someone by the name of Charles Wright on lead. Now, I don't know if that's the same Charles Wright who was the lead singer on the Twilighters that I played. This may be the Charles Wright that I'm pretty sure Andrew mentioned in the chat room. He had an autograph from. This, I think, is that Charles Wright. Maybe not. I don't know, but it's actually from 1960, so that would be more like it. But it's from January, or maybe it's the same guy. I don't know. I couldn't really verify. But it's from January 1960. These are the Titans on Fidelity Records by request for listener Ronnie Sherman. The tune is called What Have I Done? This is for Ronnie.
You are, you are, you are. Oh, I
but you did. Now you're telling me we're through, dear. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Tell me, what have I done? What have I done? Oh, you know I've treated you like a queen on the throne, dear. Gave you everything I've ever owned, dear. Won't you tell me what have I done? What have I done? Whoa, it would take from now to eternity. Whoa, to repeat the things I've done to make you happy. Somewhere down the line I failed you. Tell me where, I'd like to know. Oh, darling, I gave you love sincerely from my heart, dear. Now you're telling me we have to part, dear. Oh no, oh no, this shouldn't be. How can it be? Won't you tell me what have I done? What have I done?
January 1960 there, by request. For Ronnie Sherman, those are the Titans on Fidelity Records. What Have I Done is the name of the tune. Let's continue here in 1960. Another great two-sided 45 on the Amy label. The only thing wrong with this record is it's styrene, and I hate styrene 45s, but this group is called the Sheiks. Now, Louis Silvani says this is the same Sheiks that are from Norfolk, Virginia, and it's possible that they were brought up here by Frank Guida, who actually played their record last week on the F&D label, very rare 45, but he might have brought them up here to record in New York City, so it's possible that it's them. But the tune is written by two New York people out of New York, John Berry and Donald Razor. But this is the B-side. We're going to play the A-side next week. This is from June of 1960. These are the Sheiks on the Amy label, and it's called Please Don't Take Away the Girl I Love. These are the Sheiks.
Take away the coolness from the breeze.
Those are the Sheiks from June 1960 on the Amy record label. Please Don't Take Away the Girl I Love, that crackly styrene label. Let's move on here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. One more in 1960. A couple weeks ago, I featured their first, a song entitled Darling of Mine. That was a request for Joe Shacatano, this group from Gonzales, Texas. They had 6 releases on Charlie Fitch's Sarge record label out of Luling, Texas. And this is their second release, and it's a request for listener Emnon, written by the band leader and sax player for the group. His name is O.S. Grant, but the lead singer is Charles Leitard. Charles Leitard, the lead singer of this group called the Downbeats from 1960, going out to Emnon on the Sarge label. It's called I Need Your Love. This is for Emnon. That group called the Downbeats, 1960 release, their second release on Sarge Records. Going out to Emnon, I Need Your Love is the name of that. When we move into 1961, actually with a flip side from last week, a request for Nick Nicola featured the Memories, a group out of Washington, D.C. This was on the Waylon record label. Played the A side, it was by the Memories, it was called Love Bells. Nick also requested the flip side, written by group member Jimmy Durst. It features Ronnie Lutz, L-U-T-Z. Ronnie Lutz on lead. This one from 61. This is for Nick. The Memories on Waylon. It's called I Promise.
I promise forever to be true and always to be faithful. Love only you, my darling, won't you say that you will love me true? We promise together.
although you kept your promise, I still give mine to you. My darling, won't you say that you will love me true? You love me true. Now, my darling, you have left me. I'm sad as sad can be. Won't you come back? Won't you come back and stay with me? Promise together we always would be true. Though you broke your promise, I still give mine to you. My darling, won't you say that you will love me true? True love me, you love me, you love me true.
As going out to Nick Nicola there, requested both sides of that rare 45 out of Washington, D.C. on the Whalen record label, The Memories from 61. Song entitled I Promise. We go to Queens, New York for this next group. It's a request for listener Cheryl Morgan. It's the second of four for the Capris. Nick Santamaria, a.k.a. Nick Santo, on lead. It's going out to Cheryl, March 61. The Capris on Old Town. It's called Some People Think. This is for Cheryl.
Some people say we'll be sorry for missing out on fun. They say that we're together. They say we're just too young. But yes, I love that girl of mine. Some people say we'll be foolish to act the way we do. But I still love my baby, and that's what they never knew. That yes, I love that girl of mine.
was going out to Cheryl Morgan there. Those are the Capris, Nick Santa Maria and the Capris. March 1961 release, High Weiss's Old Town record label, second of 4 on Old Town. Some people think. Let's move on. Here we are in 61. Here is another request for listener Sugar Bear Sterling. He requested Nikki Como. Nikki Como, who first recorded, actually his first record came out on the Laurie record label. This is his second release, his follow-up, which came out on the Tang, T-A-N-G label. Tang. Wasn't that a drink of the astronauts? Tang. But anyway, he's being backed up by the Del Satins on this one. Going out to Sterling, September 61. Nikki Como on the Tang label. Just a Little While is the name of this one.
I saw you, it was just a little while. You were standing near me, but it seemed like a mile. Oh my dearest darling, how I long to speak to you. Then it seemed that weeks went by. It was just a little while till the day we met again, and at me you smiled. In that magic moment, all my wildest dreams came true. I took you to a movie, then to the soda shop. The next night we went dancing at the record hop. Soon we realized it was love that we were sharing. All our future hopes and plans we began comparing. Now we'll be together forever and forevermore, and not for just a little while, and not for just a
That's going out to Sugar Bear Sterling. That's Nikki Como, and an uncredited Del Satin September 61 release on the Tang label. Just a Little While. I didn't notice it, Daryl. Spelled backwards, Nat is the name. I never thought of it that way, Daryl, I have to say. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show for this a female duet of very young teenage girls. This is a request for listener Emnon. They are Shirley Matthews and Connie Burns. They are from Nashville, Tennessee, and they're called The Buttons. Actually, the name given to these gals by Jimi Hendrix, who said that to one of the gals, I think the lead on this, she was always sewing his buttons on his shirts. I guess Jimi Hendrix was breaking them off all the time. Maybe this is back in 62. I don't know, but anyway, they did 3 releases on the Columbia label. This is their first, produced by Carl Davis, arranged by Bill Justice. This one from October 62. We are in 1962 now for The Buttons, going out to Emnon on Columbia Records. It's called Pretty Little Love Lights for Emnon.
Makes me wonder who
October 62 release for the Buttons there, going out to Amnon. It's on the Columbia label. Pretty Little Love Lights is the name of the tune. That's their second of three for the, no, actually their first of three on the Columbia label. Let's stay in 1962 with a request for Nick Nicola. We go back to Atlanta, Georgia for this group, recorded 4 on the TPE record label. This is their hardest one, I think, of all the 4. Tune written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Levi Tony Moon. Levi, parentheses, Tony Moon. That's the lead singer. This is their 4th release on TPE from July 62. These are the Invictors. The Invictors on TPE. It's called I Took a Chance. This is for Nick.
Boom, boom, boom.
I took a chance.
Darling, I want to talk with you from the sincerity of my heart. You asked me this question, dear. Honey, why do we have to part? Now I'll answer your question, though it may hurt me too, oh so bad. You didn't want to be true to me. I tried to be true to you.
I took a chance.
Yes, I was willing to take the chance. Even though friends, they told me about you. They warned me you was not faithful, that you wouldn't be true. But haha, I laughed in their faces and said that you are mine. But oh, how wrong I was. Oh, how I wish I could have found you out in time.
I took a chance.
I took a chance. I took a chance. I took a chance, a doggone chance. I took a chance. I took a chance, and I lost.
Wow, he took a chance and he lost. You got to be careful when you're out in Vegas taking those chances. You can easily lose. Yes, you can believe I'm speaking from experience. Anyway, those are the Invictors. It's going out to Nick Nicola, July 1962 on the TPE record label. Song entitled I Took a Chance. Take a chance and subscribe to Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show. Hope you're digging on the tunes. Those of you tuned in on the Oldies and More Radio Network, also watching Johnny G live. Let's continue here. 2, 3, 4 more records to go here. And up next, a request for Tom Shaughnessy for this group called the Mystics, but not the same group that you're thinking of from Brooklyn, New York, that recorded the tune Hushabye. This is a totally different group. This group is out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and this is their first of 3 on Sid Nathan's King record label. In 1965, this group would become the Dealers that recorded for the Big Bunny label in 1965, but prior to that, they were known as the Mystics. This is from August of 1962, the Mystics on King. It's called The Hoppity Hop, a cool Easter record.
Bum, 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 little Bobby Brown and Annabella Joe and doing the hobby hop. Bum, diddy dum, little Bobby Brown and Annabella Joe and doing the hobby hop. Bum, diddy dum, little Bobby Brown and Annabella Jones doing the hobby hop. Bum, diddy dum, little Bobby Brown and Annabella Jones doing the hobby hop.
Listen to my
August 62 release there. They're called the Mystics. That one there going out to Tom Shaughnessy. That is my Easter. It's not Easter yet, but we are in the Lent season. So that you play that for Lent. The Hoppity Hop is the name of the tune. That one there on Sid Nathan's King record label. 3 more 45s to go here as we close down here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Back to Chicago we go for this girl group. Now, last week I featured a request for listener Ronnie Sherman. He requested Danetta and the Starlets from June 1962. It was called We're Going Steady, parentheses, You Belong to Me, on the OK record label. Let's give a listen to the flip side before we file it back down in the no humidity basement. And it's Danetta and the Starlets. Now, Danetta, her name was Danetta Boone, but she changed it, a.k.a. to Liz Walker, and she's on lead here from June 62 on the OK record label, Danetta and the Starlets, and the tune is called Impression. Impression.
Trying to tell me that my love has put me down, that he's been seeing another girl in town, but I know that he is only making an impression. I'm not going to worry about this new love that he's found, 'cause just like that, she won't be around, for I know that he is only making an impression. He's like a boy who found a brand new toy. It's new, so he thinks, yes, he thinks that it's mine. He'll soon be through when she's no longer new, and I'll be there, oh yes, I'll be there in his heart. Well, you don't believe me, I can see the way you frown. Yes, you're still thinking that my love has put me down, for I know that he is only making an impression. He's only making an impression.
June 62 release for Danetta and the Starlets, song entitled Impression. That one there on the OK record label. 2 more 45s to go here, and here is a request for Sterling, this group out of San Bernardino, California. This quartet, all stationed at the March Air Force Base, won a contest and a recording contract with this label called Bond Records, and this one here, early 1963 release, January 63. I think I prefer the flip side of this, is what you're thinking of, George. The Battle of Love, I think, is the flip, is the side. This is the up-tempo side, I think, as it features Isaac Woods on lead. He also wrote the tune. This is going out to listener Sterling, January 63, The Ripples on Bond. It's called Please Let Me Love You. This is for Sterling.
Please let me love you. Please let me hold you tight. Please let me squeeze you, darling, with all my might. Won't you surrender your love to me at night? Please be my sweetheart. I love you very much. Your lips be the only one mine will ever touch. Won't you surrender your love to me tonight? Then, darling,
is the only one mine will ever hurt. Won't you surrender your love to me tonight? Then darling, hear my plea, I beg of you tonight. While I'm here, tell me dear, then everything will be alright. Please be my sweetheart, I love you very much. You're the only one mine will ever touch. Won't you surrender your love to me at night? Your love to me at night.
That's January 1963 release there. That's going out to Sterling. Those are the ripples on the, it's actually Bond, buy bonds. I think that was like an advertisement for people to buy bonds from the government. I think that's what it was. But Isaac Woods wrote the tune, and that song called Please Let Me Love You. That's for Sterling. We'll get the flip on next week for George. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasures Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to Cool 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with me, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. If you have a request, you want to tell me if you enjoyed the show, what you liked about the show. Disc jockeys love to get correspondence from their listeners, that is for sure. If you missed any of the show, those of you watching on YouTube, it will be up momentarily, probably not with the chat. Ryan was telling me it took him like 15 to 18 hours for the chat to come up, but the archive is there automatically. I think you just have to look at the downloads. It should be there. Or you can go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download. The stream is there, so that you can do. And that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll be back on this coming Monday at 8 o'clock, 8 to 11 o'clock on Oldies and More Radio for my all 1960s show. We lean soul there for that show, so please join me then. If not, I'll see you here next Saturday night at 10 o'clock, 10 to 1 a.m. with a little bit of overtime that we always do. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Charlene. Also, we got a closer tonight, which is a request for listener Nick Nicola, as we go up to Detroit, Michigan, for a group known as the Leaping Flames, and this is their second release on Mike Hank's MRC record label, co-written by the lead singer. His name is James Ingram, the same James Ingram. I think that's the same guy that went on to have releases. I think I have one called I Spy on I'm thinking, no, maybe that's not it. I'm thinking of Luther Ingram. That's what I'm thinking of. But anyway, James Ingram is the lead singer on this. This is from 1963, The Leaping Flames on MRC, the closers for Nick Nicola. It's called It's Been So Long, and yes, it has. That's going to do it, folks. Thank you all again for tuning in. Thank you, Charlene, again for all your help. Hope you heard some records maybe you didn't hear before. I apologize for some of the conditions and whatnot, but again, what are you going to do? So everybody have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday night at 10 o'clock right here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, either on YouTube or on Oldies and More Radio. Just want to say, everybody, so long. The Leaping Flames for Nick.
It's been so long.
At last our love is gone.
So long.
At last our love is gone.
So long.
At last our love is gone.
So long.
At last our love is gone. At last our love is gone. At last our love again. It's been so long since I miss you. So long I haven't kissed you. 'Cause now I know how true love is. And like a wild dove, darling, I'm happy now and I love again. It's been so long. It's been so long since we said goodbye. So long
I caught you in the wrong. But I'm in love again.
It's been so long, I found a
love so really true. And she is nothing like you. I found a love so really new. And she would never make me blue. No, yeah. It's been so long since you tried to use me. So long. And my new love wanna use me. It would have been a crime if I hadn't found out in time. Darling, I'm happy now that I love again.
It's been so long, it's been so long since I
Okay, folks, thank you all for tuning in. Here is, that's a good record. I haven't played this in a long time. Could be in better shape, but anyway, they're called the Leaping Flames. The Leaping Flames, It's Been So Long is the name of that one on MRC. I have the Casual Crescendos. Isn't that on the MRC? Isn't the Casual Crescendos on the MRC label too? I have a styrene press of that. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in tonight. It was kind of a difficult week because I had to take my mother to the we had two deaths of friends, actually a relative. Her name was Diane Manella. She was my mother's first cousin. She was found dead in her house. And she was there for 10 days. Nobody knows how or why that happened. But so it was really a horrible thing. And we couldn't have the wake, and I didn't want my mother to go, but she wanted to go to the cemetery. So I asked my company, can I drive my mother to the cemetery for the burial? And then another one, it was a terrible thing. He was younger than me, but when I lived on my grandmother's street with my aunt when I was a kid, there was one of the guys there. His name was David Esteban. He was about, I think, maybe 7 years younger than me. But he committed suicide, and I don't know why. I mean, he went into the Army. He was a big Army guy, and what was he, 50? I think his early 50s, I think. And I don't know how he killed himself, but he lived in Sleepy Hollow, and he drove to his favorite park in Montrose. And I don't know if he was... I mean, and I don't know how he killed himself. Maybe he shot himself. I don't know. But the funny thing is, the priest said that he was the last survivor of all of his friends that came back from the military. They all committed suicide, which is a very sad thing. And I saw him not too long ago. It was very sad to find that out. And his name is David Esteban. It's a very sad thing, really. But anyway, that's the way it goes. But anyway, not to talk about that. But anyway, again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I'll be back next Saturday night at 10 o'clock, 10 to 1 a.m. It's a little later here. We're getting out a little earlier here than usual. But if not, I'll see everybody Monday night, 8 o'clock, 8 to 11 o'clock on Oldies and More Radio, and also here on YouTube. Tell your friends about it. This phenomenon of watching the records, and for you collectors, I know it's a thrill. I know it would have been for me. But anyway, just time to say goodnight. So long all. Take care.